Alright guys, in this video I'm going to be going over everything that you need to know for getting into using PKSM on your 3DS system. Obviously you need a modded system, so you don't have a modded system, do that and then come back. But PKSM essentially is a modded software on the 3DS. I believe it's on PC as well, but for the 3DS, it lets you edit your save data in your games in a very beginner-friendly way without needing to know how to code or program. You can edit in Pokemon, edit your existing Pokemon, remove Pokemon. You can force trigger events, add items, add money, etc, etc. And you can use it for every single title on the 3DS, including Virtual Console titles, DS titles, and 3DS titles. And in this video, I'm going to be showing you how to get those save files, all types of save files loaded into PKSM very, very easily. So the first thing is we need to actually get PKSM. So to do that, we need to go to Universal Updater. Like a lot of software on the 3DS, it does have a Universal Updater version. Now, my Universal Updater is in Japanese just because I have a Japanese system that was region changed, but for some reason this is still in Japanese. It'll be the same for everybody. I'll go ahead and grab my stylus here. So you want to go to the search, and you're just going to search for PKSM. Oops. PKSM. Boom, you'll see it right there. PKSM by Flag Brew, Gen 1 to Gen 8 Save Manager. Click A on it. You can select the 3DSX or the CIA. The difference is the 3DSX will show up on your Homebrew Launcher list. So if you open Homebrew Launcher, it'll show up in that list of applications. Or if you'd rather have it on the home screen, you can install the CIA version, which is the one that I recommend installing if you're going to be using this pretty often. Once you start installing it, it's going to show up here and it'll disappear when it's done, and you can back out to your home screen. And if you download the 3DSX version, it will show up in the Homebrew Launcher, so you can launch this app. Or if you download the CIA, you're going to be getting a gift on your home screen right now with the application. So now that we have it, how do we get in there and start adding our save files? So you're going to want to open up PKSM, and I am going to go ahead and mention that you do need to have existing save files, and I would also just recommend getting at least your starter Pokemon before opening up PKSM, because I've noticed that some games, when you try to edit the save data before getting the starter Pokemon, it's just kind of wonky and it can corrupt. So get your starter Pokemon, then save, then open PKSM. And it seems like I am having a PKSM update right now, which is pretty funny. So that's going to be done. But like I said, I would say for every game, whether it's a Virtual Console title, a DS title, or a 3DS title, go ahead, play through, get your starter Pokemon, and then save. You can save and back out as soon as you get your starter Pokemon, as long as you get it. Because, like I said, I've seen some cases where not getting the starter Pokemon does kind of corrupt and mess with the save data a little bit, and then it just becomes completely unusable, and we don't want that to happen. So, yeah, this update is installing. You probably won't have to do that when you install it. It'll just look like this, and then it'll boot in once it reads all of your save data information on the SD card, if there's any. So as you can see, scanning, and boom. As you can see, we already have 3DS titles on here, which brings me to my next point. How are the 3DS saves added onto here? Well, they're added onto here automatically. So as you can see, you can have installed games, or if you have a game card, your game card will show up here. But yeah, you can just select any of your 3DS titles. So in this case, I have save data for Pokemon X, Pokemon Y, Omega Ruby, Sun, and Ultra Sun. I do have Alpha Sapphire, Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon, and Regular Moon. However, they don't have save data, which means they're not going to show up on here. But to edit the save data for 3DS games, you just select the game you want to edit for. So we'll select Pokemon X, and then you press A again to select the game save file, and it'll take you into PKSM. We'll get into how to use PKSM after I show you how to add the other types of save data. So that's pretty simple for 3DS games. So if you do not need to know how to do DS games or Virtual Console games, skip. There's timestamps in the video, so go ahead and skip over to the basics of PKSM timestamp, and you can keep learning from there how to use it. But now we're going to move on to how to add the DS games, and this is also pretty simple. Again, go ahead and make sure you have a save data with a Pokemon already. And once you're on this menu, you're going to press X, and it's going to open up the settings. You're going to go to Miscellaneous, and then down on the bottom screen, you'll see extra saves. Tap the 3 lines that correspond across the screen. to the extra saves, and it's going to pull up these games. Now you're going to need to select your game. So if you are doing this for Pearl, you're going to select DP. In this case, I'm going to do Soul Silver, so I'm going to select HGSS. And then once we select our game, or our, I guess, pair of games, we need to select the game itself. So we're going to be selecting Soul Silver, and as you can see, my save is already there. So I'm going to press X to remove the save, and that's also how you can remove save. You just do this and press X to remove the save. But let's add the save. So go ahead and press A to add the save, and it's going to open up your file list, similar to FBI. So 99% of the time, this is the file format. You're going to go to _NDS, and then you are going to go to, excuse me, not _NDS. You're going to keep going down to ROMs, and then NDS, and then saves. And from here, you're going to want to find your save data for the game that you selected. So there's our Soul Silver version. And again, this does work with all versions. So if we had the European version or the Japanese version of the game, you can still edit the save data of those games. So select the Soul Silver version. This is the save. Press A to confirm. And boom, you can see our save is there. And again, that's how you can do it with any save. And also for 3DS games that just don't show up for whatever reason, like if you know you have a Pokemon X save and it's not showing up in PKSM, you restart the app, it's still not showing up, you can also go in and manually add your save data that way as well. So that's how you can add your DS save data. So once you back out, it'll scan back to the SD card, and again, it's not going to show the saves right here, because to select the game, you need to press Y, and Y is just opening up the menu for absent titles, and then you need to select the pair of games. So again, Soul Silver, and as you can see right there, SS stands for Soul Silver saves, and if I press A, it'll load into my Soul Silver save. You could also have another one that would say HG saves, and that would be Heart Gold save, and again, that would work for all of these, you know, black 2, white 2, and any 3DS titles that don't show up on the main menu, you can access through here as well. And to back out, I believe you just press Y again. Oh, I pressed start. So keep in mind, pressing start while in PKSM will restart the application. Or not necessarily restart it, but close the application. But to get out of the absent games menu, you can just press Y again to go back to the main menu. So that's how you can add and access the DS game save files. Again, pressing Y will take you between the two screens. Let's go over how to add virtual console titles. So the first thing you need to do is get your title ID for the game. Now, I'm 99% sure that the title IDs are exactly the same across all systems, but just to be sure, I would go ahead and check anyways. So you're going to want to go to FBI, close PKSM, and go into FBI, the file manager. And again, this is for virtual console games, so this is going to include games like Ruby, Sapphire, Emerald, Gold, Silver, Crystal, you know, all of the virtual console titles. So once we're in here, you need to get the game ID. So you need to go down to titles, and it's going to start loading a list of every title that you have on your system, and that includes most ROM hacks, I believe, as well. So this is going to take a long time for mine, so I'm just going to kind of show you how to get this. You got to find the game that you want. So you'd go down to Pokemon, and I know in this case I'm doing Pokemon Leaf Green, so I would go down to Pokemon Leaf Green, and as you can see right here under Mario Kart 7, there's the title ID. Just find the game you want, and your title ID will show up right here, and you'll want to copy that down onto a notepad or a computer, or just some way, take a picture, just some way you know you can reference this title ID, because we are going to need to input it into PKSM. So just do that for whatever game you're trying to do. Ruby, like I said, Ruby, Sapphire, Emerald, any of the virtual console titles. And then once you do that, we can open back up PKSM. And once we open PKSM, it is kind of similar adding these as it is to adding the DS titles. The main difference is just we have to have that title ID. So again, we're going to press X to go into the menu. We're going to miscellaneous, but instead of going to extra saves, we're going to go one lower and select title IDs. And on the top screen, it's going to open up a list of pretty much every game available on the DS. So in my case, I'm doing this for Leaf Green. I have the Leaf Green title ID. But again, if you were doing this for Emerald, you would select Emerald here. But I'm going to be selecting Leaf Green. And it's going to pull this up on the bottom. Now, I already have my title ID inputted because I've done this before. And this is the title ID for Pokemon Leaf Green. But what you would do is it would be a lot shorter for you the first time. So like if I go out, I think I can just go out and select a different game. So like I'll select Pokemon Gold. And as you can see, oh no, I've played Pokemon Gold as well, sorry. Let me select, I don't think I've done Sapphire. Yeah, there you go. So it should probably look something like this for the first time you've opened it. Just go ahead and delete this and then type in your title ID and then select OK. And it's going to tell me title ID is not found because that's not a title ID. But if I go to Leaf Green, select OK, that's the title ID. And now that you have the title ID in there, you can back out to the main menu again. It's going to rescan the SD card, and then you can click on VC games right here, and your virtual games will pop up. So we have Pokemon Red. I also put Pokemon Crown in here to show that you can do Pokemon ROMs and ROM hacks in PKSM. It's not going to work with every game. It will show up, but there is a very good chance that once you try to load the save, the PKSM will crash. In the case of Pokemon Ground, the PKSM will crash if you try to load the save and edit it that way. Just because Pokemon Crown, I believe, reads save data differently since it's a ROM hack. But for more simple ROM hacks, like Pokemon Crown is an entirely unique, it's pretty much just a fan game. It's a whole unique experience. For a lot more simple ROM hacks that are just sort of like edits of the original game, you should be able to have no issues there. But there you go. That's how you can add the virtual console games. So now, we've added our games. How do we actually use PKSM? So in this example, I'm going to use Pokemon Omega Ruby because that's just sort of the file I test with. So for whatever game you're going to use, whether it's a 3DS title, a VC title, or a DS title, just select it, select the save. It'll back up your save just in case anything happens. And as you can see, here we are, Generation 6. I have 5 badges. I've seen 75 and I've caught 11. So if you want to access just your PC, you can select storage and see everything that you have on your PC. These are 2 edited in Dragonites that I did for other videos in the past. You can view a Pokemon. There's all the stats for the Dragonite. You can clear a Pokemon. You can, like, clearing just erases everything out of the box. You can release a Pokemon. You can dump, clone. If I clone this Dragonite, boom, got another one. Now, if you want to actually add Pokemon and edit Pokemon, you need to select the editor. And what we're going to do is we're going to add a Pokemon. So you select an empty slot and press A and then press edit. And it's going to pull up a list of every Pokemon that's available to you. And if you need to go more, you can just go right and it's going to keep showing all of the Pokemon. So in this case, I'm just going to add a Mewtwo. And it's going to be default. It's not going to really have any stats. It'll be level 1. But you can change all this stuff. So if I go to stats, you can change the IVs and the EVs. If you go to moves, you can edit the moves and you can have the relearn moves available as well. Miscellaneous will be like its Met level, the day, like if you want to change the Met, you can change the location, the origin game, all of that fun stuff. And again, if you want to edit a Pokemon as well, just select the Pokemon and select edit and boom, you'll be right back here to edit everything about it. Very, very nice. You can also release a Pokemon by just pressing Y, and that Pokemon is gone. And again, you can select the Pokemon and press X to clone it, and now you have multiple. You can also edit. You're not going to be able to do it with the D-pad, but if you use the touchscreen, you can also switch over to the team and edit your party as well. You can edit their items, everything like that. So we're going to back out, and I did not mean to back all the way out, but there we go. You can also go into events and force trigger events to happen. So if there's a specific event you want to happen, let's say in my case, I want to trigger an English event, I can scroll through and pick all, go through and choose like which event I want to activate, and it'll trigger in my game. Now again, you do want to choose the event that is for your game. So you don't want to go and choose a Pokemon X and Y event for Pokemon Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire. You're gonna run into issues there. So make sure that the event you're selecting is the event that is an event that was designed for the game that you're editing. Scripts are going to be for custom scripts, so most people don't really use this. But if there are specific scripts you want to put into your game to run, like movement scripts and stuff like that, this is how you can do that. Again, not many people really use this, but it's there in case you want to be able to use it. Your bag is exactly what it sounds like. It's your bag. You can add items, as many as you want. Key items, TMs, HMs, medicine, berries. I don't necessarily think you can add Poke Dollars, but like, I mean, if you wanted to, you can just go in, and, oh, there you go. So if you want to add specific items, because these are all the items that I already have, but if you want to add an item, just press A, and you'll see it's going to pull up like a list of, these are all the berries. If I go down to items, you can see here's a list of all of the items, and if you want to make a bunch of money, you can just like add expensive items to your bag and then go sell them all and get a bunch of money that way. But yeah, that's how you can edit your bag. And then there's settings. This is just going to take you to the settings menu. And yeah, if you're ready to go, you can just select this button right there. It's going to save. And then if you want to just back out and not open the game immediately, you can press B to back out, and then you're back into PKSM. Or if you do want to go right into loading your game, you can select this option right here, and that will save and also boot up the game that you just edited for. So yeah, that's pretty much the basics of using PKSM. Now, I do want to go over some troubleshooting tips and some frequently asked questions that I get on my Discord and in my comment sections. Just because these are simple little things that are easy to fix, but you know, you're not necessarily going to know how to without being told. So, one question that I get a lot is, can I transfer Pokemon created in PKSM to Pokemon Bank and then into Pokemon Home? The answer to that question is yes, but with a very, very large but. And that but being, you just need to know that there's a very high risk of doing that, because if you are caught transferring illegal Pokemon to Pokemon Home, it can result in Game Freak banning your Pokemon Home account. And I've even seen some cases of where they use the Switch version of Pokemon Home and their entire Nintendo Online account gets banned. So yes, you can do it, but just make sure you know what you're doing and don't get caught doing it, because again, you can get banned from not only Home, but Nintendo Online in general. Another question I get a lot is, what do I do if I got a save not valid for when I add DS saves? So I have seen this some. When you're going to add a DS save, you will get a save not valid error message. The first thing I would do is open up FBI to go check on the file, and you could also do this by plugging in your SD card to your computer. Go to your file management system and go to the save file and check to see if the save file is under 514 kilobytes. And the reason for that is because for some reason PKSM really doesn't like it when a save file is over 514 kilobytes. And if it is over, that means that you will just have to create a new save file. But if it's under 514 kilobytes and it's still not working, try booting up a different DS game save, and if that game save works, then that means that the save data you were trying out first is probably corrupted and you need to create a new save file. However, if your other DS game save data also doesn't work, then I would reinstall PKSM, because you might have unintentionally run into an error or a corruption when installing it in the first place. Another question I get quite a lot is, how do I have all my Pokemon DS games on my home screen? And as you can see here, I have all of the DS games on my home screen. How do I have that? A lot of people think that you can only access them through the Twilight menu. And while yes, it's true that you can access them through the Twilight menu, there is an app called the NDS Forwarder, and I will link that video of me using it down in the description. But basically, it's just an application that lets you basically just create home shortcuts to these games in the Twilight menu. And again, I have a full video going over how to install that and how to use it in my description on my channel. So go check out that video. I'll link it in the description if you want to be able to do that yourself. Another question I get sometimes is, can I copy my save files from my 3DS to my PC to be used in an emulator? Yes. For certain games, like the Virtual Console games, to get them on your computer, you will have to dump those saves. And I do have a video that I actually uploaded a few days ago on how to dump and inject Pokemon Virtual Consoles, or not even just Pokemon, but Virtual Console save data in general from your 3DS, dumping it off of your 3DS on a computer, and then re-injecting a save file into your 3DS. It's very, very simple. It just uses some God Mode 9 shenanigans. So if you want to know how to do that, I'll also link that video in the description of this video, so you can go check out that video and get your save datas onto an emulator. Another question I see is, can I copy my save datas to other 3DS systems? Also, yes. Again, if you're doing this for Virtual Console saves, you will have to dump those saves and then inject them on another system. But for the DS saves and 3DS saves, you can just copy and paste those onto another SD card and boot them up on another system, no problem. Again, another question I get is, does PKSM work with physical cartridges? Yes, they will show up next to your digital 3DS save files in the home menu, which I'm pretty sure I stated that a lot earlier in this video when we opened it up for the first time. I mentioned it, but yes, you can use physical cartridges with PKSM. And if you run into an issue with a physical cartridge, I would check and see if PKSM is doing digital games just fine. And again, if it's not working on digital games or your cartridge, reinstall PKSM. But if it is working on digital games and it's not working on the cartridge, then there might be an issue with the cartridge and you might need to get that checked out, or even potentially get a new copy. So that's pretty much going to be it for this video. I know it was a longer video than I normally do, but I did want to go and kind of compile all of the PKSM stuff into one video because it's been spread out across, 3 different videos and comment sections and some stuff in my Discord as well. So I wanted to compile it all into one more comprehensive guide, how you can edit your saves, add 3DS saves, DS saves, your Virtual Console saves, and just some frequently asked questions that I see in the comments a lot. Hopefully this will help you guys out. It saves me a lot of time because I can't really go and reply to every single comment as much as I would like to. So this video is kind of for that. Again, thank you guys for watching. I'll have links to all my stuff in the description. If you have any further issues and you want to talk to someone like myself or another member of my community that kind of knows what we're doing, you can join my Discord, link in the description. We have a Nintendo questions and topic channel for that. If you want to come hang out with me live, I live stream sometimes and play games. I stream on Twitch, so that's going to be in the description as well. I also have an Instagram and a TikTok where I upload my YouTube shorts, so if you're more into the short form content, those are available for you as well. And again, I will link the videos for the NDS forwarder and how to dump and inject the Virtual Console save datas in the description of this video, as well as all the other stuff I just mentioned. And yeah, that's going to be it for the video. I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.